Shalom. Oh, what's up? Haven't seen you in a while. Shalom, shalom, shalom. Got a couple minutes for everyone else gets on a little early. Praise the Almighty. Turn that down a little bit. Definitely thank the Almighty. Thank the Almighty for the Zooms. It was a major blessing. Had Zoom calls yesterday, talked about some pretty good stuff. Talk about what's going on with the news and everything. Even the whole files, pedophile files, you already know. I don't really keep too much with that because they're not arresting no one. You know what I'm saying? And usually when they decide to release, if a wicked person decides to release information, it's because they want you to keep you focused on this and they're doing something in the back. I guess there's some disappearance. Every time I look on the news feed, some videos about this Guthrie girl disappearing or something. Who is this woman? Why is she important? Why is this on all the news channels? Why do you want people to focus on this? What are you passing in legislation? What are you doing behind the scenes that you want people to not focus on? What do you need? I need all the news media and all the YouTube channels and Fox News only play this because this is what we're doing behind the scenes, and we don't want people to know what's really going on. We don't want people to know that the economy is collapsing or we're passing legislation, even with similar to the Patriot Act, where they're going to control. We don't want people to know that banks are stopping people from taking their money out and for unjust reasons. You know, Coinbase locked people out of their accounts and said it was a bug and didn't tell people why. Don't focus on that. Don't focus on like the Great Depression where they locked people out of the banks. Then they couldn't get their money. And when they shut down the ATMs, they can't get their money. No, don't focus on the economy collapse. Focus on this. You know, and I'm not saying that's why, but I don't really pay attention to it. I know no one's going to get arrested. No politician's going to go to prison. Nothing. Nothing's going to happen. Somehow with all the information, they have drones and they spy on intelligence and they have all this information, but they can't come up with no person that's going to get arrested that's participated in that. Even how J.P. Morgan was the main banker for that stuff. And that was found out 3 years ago. That J.P. Morgan tried to lie and say, oh, we didn't know. But they're the main bank to the pedophile files, right? But definitely thank the Almighty. We live in a wicked world. It's going to get more wicked, more corrupt. Babylon is going down. There's no way Babylon's going to survive. It's rotten to the core. It says, come out of her, my people. Do your best to come out. Start off with getting your passport. Start off with getting 6 months of food and water. Whatever you need to do. Toilet paper, pads, all that stuff. Everything you need to do for your family, for your kids. One step at a time. We don't have money to be really enjoying the fruits of this world. I'm not saying not go on vacation and whatnot, but a lot of your disposable income should be prepping against that day. You know, the day where it's time to flee. So shalom, shalom, Alim, Q, Muhammad. Shalom, everyone. Praise the Almighty. Let's deal with it. We're going to deal with, I'm going to hit on 2 parts. I really don't like wasting too much time on false holidays and stuff like that. So I'm going to hit it with the 2-part, and I got some pretty good statistics. The saints of the Most High, we got to come up in wisdom. We got to come up in our finances, come up in our reading, come up in our studying. We need to be students. Just because you graduate high school don't mean you need to stop your studying. And just because you graduate college and have a degree don't mean you need to stop studying. You know what I'm saying? Rather, be a better parent, be a better husband, be a better father, be a better mother, be a better sister in the Almighty, be a better student of the Word, learn finances, learn psychology, learn child development. We were talking about this stuff. Always continue to learn. You men, you're expected to, because you're the lead, and you should always be 10 steps ahead of your family. They should always be able to look into you and say, the power's out, Dad, what are we going to do? Or the car broke down, or this broke in the house, or the plumbing went down. What are we going to do? And you should be able to walk circumspectly or be well-rounded and be able to come up and problem solve, perfecting your skill of problem solving. So, welcome to True Hebrews United. This is Teacher Simon, your beloved holiness instructor, discipleship drill sergeant, about to get into the book as usual. Definitely give all honor to the creator of heaven and earth and all that is in therein, Yah, through his son, Yeshua, the only begotten of the Father. Double honor to the apostles, the prophets, the evangelists, the teachers, the elders, the bishops, the deacons across the whole planet, teaching and preaching this gospel, trying to persuade people to repent from their sin and come to this gospel before it's everlasting too late. Double honor to the apostles, the prophets, evangelists. I already said that, right? Also, the brothers and sisters across the whole planet, especially those in Africa and Sudan that's suffering from the straight persecution from the Muslims are killing, pretty much the Arabs are killing black people in Sudan and South Sudan and whatnot. Pray for them. They're kidnapping people that believe in the Bible. They're kidnapping in the Congo, in Nigeria. It's getting bad in Africa. It's going to get bad for the people that believe in the world and the scriptures worldwide. So I pray for them, you know, that they'll be able to stand strong and go from there. You know what I'm saying? All the people across the planet. I know the Bible is banned in China. I know the believers in Australia suffer persecution when they decided not to get that Cobra injection, you know, that pandemic injection. Happy Sabbath to you too as well. So pray for all the people. Also, all the people that share, subscribe, and like to the channel. Check out our YouTube, True Hebrews United, the Lord Yeshua as well. And is there anything else I left out? And then I'll do the shout outs later. Sister Winnie got to give me the shout outs. But praise the Almighty. So, with all that said and being done, let's let the fingers do the walking and the scriptures do the talking. Exodus 20. Exodus 20, and we're going to start off with verse 1. Exodus 20 and verse 1. Exodus 20, verse 1. You guys ready? Let's get into the book. And the Almighty spake all these words, saying, I am the Lord thy God, which brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. And thou shalt have no other gods before me. No other gods before me. Thou shalt not make thee any graven image, the likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in earth beneath, or that is in the waters under the earth. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, nor serve them. For I am the Lord thy God. I am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children, unto the third and fourth generation, and hate me, and showing mercy unto thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. So it says, you shall not have any other God before them. So as you know, people's playing around on this Valentine's Day. And if the blind lead, if the blind boat's going to fall into the ditch, they blindly observe things. So let's go with the origins of Valentine's real quick. Valentine's Day has deep pagan roots. You can look this up. Put Valentine's Day pagan origin on Google. Deep pagan roots in the ancient Roman festival Lupercalia, and held in February 13th through 15th. For a fertility celebration featured animal sacrifices, with men running through the streets striking women with goat skins to promote fertility. It was later Christianized by Pope Gladius in the 5th century. So that means early believers didn't keep this, right? True believers did not keep this. Replacing the violent rituals with the feast day of Saint Valentine, this Pope, right? Check this out. This is what they did. The festival was aimed towards warding off evil spirits, purifying the city, and promote fertility and health. Rituals: priests sacrificed goats and dogs for purification. They will whip women with the goat hides and practice women awful welcome to increase. Held in mid-February, marking arrivals in spring, honoring Phanes, the goddess of agriculture, as well as Romulus and Remus, the founders of Rome. Wow. In the late 5th century, Pope Gallius abolished the wild festivals and replaced it with St. Valentine's Day on February 14th. So we already know this came from paganism, and they did idol sacrifices from it. Now, let's go with also I'm reading through this other part. Blood was taken from the sacrifice knife and was smeared across the foreheads of two naked leprosy. The knife was also wiped clean and pierced in milk-soaked wool. Historians suggested that this ritual is the reason why Valentine's Day is associated with the colors red and white. Red representing the blood from the sacrifice, while white representing the milk on the wool that wipes the knife clean, signifying new life. Wow. That's what they doing today? And what's weird is a lot of people, oh, I believe in the Bible. I'm a Christian. I'm a child of the Most High. I'm a Hebrew. I'm this, I'm that. And yet they still observe paganism. And this is why it's ironic that the first commandment is thou shalt have no other gods before me. And the number one sin, this is why they say Christianity is a white man's religion. And I believe it, because true believers aren't Christians. We believe in truth. Christians celebrate Christmas and Valentine's Day and Thanksgiving and Halloween and Veterans Day and President's Day and Thanksgiving and all this other stuff. The number one sin of Christians is idolatry. Idolatry. That's the number one sin. They're breaking the first commandment, right? The first commandment. That's why, like, are you a Christian? No, I'm not a pagan. I'm not into paganism. They're no different than someone that believes in Buddha or believes in Hinduism, or the one where they think an elephant is a god or whatever, right? Or seen a Satan a building for the first time in my life. It says Satanism, and they sold incense and all this tarot cards. I've never seen a building that just blatantly just says Satanism on the building. But nonetheless, the Christians, the supposedly believers, adopted pagan practices. That is not of the Most High. It says, what does the temple of God have to do with idols? So, give me Deuteronomy chapter 6. Deuteronomy chapter 6, verse 4. And I don't knock it when someone's coming to the Most High and they don't know and they call themselves a Christian, meaning unbelievers called as Christians, by the way. If you read that, and they were known as Christians in Antioch, and if you suffer as a Christians, they also called believers Nazarites or Nazarenes. So they called us Nazarenes too. This is what unbelievers called us. You know what I'm saying? We didn't say, yeah, I'm a Christian. He's saying if you suffer as a Christian. But nonetheless, the early Christians, if you want to call it that, but the early believers, they didn't keep no pagan days. They kept the Sabbath and all the feast days. You could Google, this is an easy Google search. We kept the feast days. We did not keep any pagan days. The Almighty gave us all our days we need to keep. The Sabbath, Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread, Feast of Weeks or Pentecost or Feast of First Fruits, blowing of trumpets, Day of Atonement, and Feast of Tabernacles. It was the number one sin in Israel too, serving idol gods. And so this is why I say Christians won't make it in. Deuteronomy 6:4. Deuteronomy 6:4. And the funny part is Valentine's Day, they'll say, oh, it's about love and loving your spouse, and they have hearts, and you have your kids signing little things and going to school and signing all this stuff and doing their Valentine's Day party, and those chalky chocolates taste pleasurable. You know what I'm saying? They're pleasurable. It's too bad they have gelatin in it, because there's this pack of rolls that taste the same. I like that candy. I forgot the name of what they were called. They're little thin little wafers, but they taste good. But they got gelatin in them, so I had to give them up, right? So, about love, right? Deuteronomy 6:4. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, and thou shalt love the Lord thy God with all thy heart, with all thy soul, with all of thy mind, and with all thy soul, and with all of thy might. With everything you got, we're supposed to love the Most High. And yet you observe Valentine's Day and serve pagan gods. It says, you shall have no other gods before me. You're practicing pagan practices. You can't do that. You can't serve the Almighty and practice paganism. It doesn't matter if you don't know what the Ouija board is, but you're practicing the Ouija board. It is still sin. It is still sin. It is still sin. It doesn't matter if you didn't know that she was married and then you married her and then you find out that, oh, she's married to someone else and they divorced for unjust reasons. You're in adultery. It says if you put away your wife and she goes and marry another, you commit adultery because she didn't cheat on you. And it says you caused her to commit adultery. And it says anyone who takes her and marries her, meaning her husband is still alive. And it says you're in adultery. So if you marry a woman like, yeah, I broke up with my husband. Why? Because we got in arguments. Whoa. That's adultery. You need to break off that marriage. You need to break off. That's adultery. You have a husband and you left him for no just reason. That's adultery. in like manner is, once you find out that something is paganism, you need to stop that. You need to cut that off. You can't continue to do that. Let's keep going. Rolos. No, they weren't Rolos. They were little thin wafers. And they were like the heart. You know those Valentines boxes that says, hug me, or all that stuff? And they have these little hearts, and they're chalky. But they have they look like a case of a Rolo or a Mentos, but they're little thin wafers. And they got down. They had chocolate flavor, and then they had the regular dispersed colors. But nonetheless, we can't say we are a believer and practicing paganism. And so many people that say they believe in the Most High and hold up this Bible believe that not only are they breaking the Sabbath today, but also that they're going to go to their Sunday worship in church and all praise the Almighty after they just celebrate paganism. Even though Sunday's not the main worship day. The apostles were there 7 days a week. But, so I'm not saying you can't have service on a Sunday. I personally wouldn't, because they're going to confuse you with Christianity. In Christianity, the Catholics changed the main worship day from the Sabbath to Sunday. If you have service on the Sabbath, that's like you're supposed to, and then you have something on Sunday that's different, but I would just I'll just stay away from Sunday altogether. I'll just do Wednesday and Sabbath or something, right? But let's keep going. Give me 1 Corinthians chapter 10. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. And we'll start at verse 14. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 14. Let's get it. Wherefore, my brother, wherefore, my dearly beloved, flee from idolatry. And speak as to wise man, judge ye what I say. The cup of blessings which we bless, it is not the communion of the blood of Amashiach, and the bread we break, is it not the communion of the body of Amashiach? For we being many are one bread and one body, for we are all partakers of that one bread. Behold, Israel after the flesh, are not they which eat at the sacrifice partakers of the altar? What I say, that an idol is anything, or that which is offered in sacrifice to idols is anything. But I say that the things which the Gentiles sacrifice, they sacrifice to devils, and not God, and not the Almighty. And I would not that you should have fellowship with devils. You cannot drink the cup of the Lord and the cup of devils. You cannot be partakers of the Lord's table and the partakers of devils, and of the table of devils. Do we provoke the Lord to jealousy? Are we stronger than he? You can't be eating Valentine's chocolates and stuff like that. Celebrate. That's paganism. Those things are offered up for Valentine's Day. We can't be at the Almighty's table and the table of devils. You said it was the god of fertility. It was a ritual. They did animal sacrifices on Valentine's Day for a false god. And so it's like, how are you going to eat Valentine's chocolate and do this and buy flowers? You are participating in a pagan holiday, and you will not make it into the kingdom. It says you cannot do this. You cannot be at the Lord's table and at the table of devils. You have to pick one. It says you shall have no other gods before me. Let's keep going. Give me John. Oh, let me read verse 23. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but all things edify not. Now, we're going to come back to that. Give me John chapter 5. I put up a post about the dyes in candy. You guys need to check it out. I think it got some pretty decent views. I'm not really worried about the views, but yeah, some of these issues with attention span and everything with children is simply because the dyes. And imagine you're feeding your kid a whole bunch of candy, and then they're hyperactive, and now they get diagnosed with ADHD, and now they're on a medication that they do not need, simply because you're feeding your kid candy with a whole bunch of dyes in it. And so they get misdiagnosed, and now they're taking a medication they do not need. And who knows the permanent effects? Maybe they've been taking that medication for 5, 10, 15 years of something they do not need. We got to be mindful. We got to do research. This is why I say, even though we're done with high school or college, we still need to be learning about that, the dyes, and you'll make better decisions on what you put in your children's mouth, what they consume, what they watch, how they spend their money. Let's keep going, right? 1 John chapter 5, verse 19. Let's get it. And we know that we are of the Almighty, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Like I say all the time, it doesn't matter if the whole world stops believing in the Most High, I'm still going to believe in the Most High. If the whole world decides to break the Sabbath, eat pork, celebrate pagan days, if all my family and friends decide to sin against the Most High and break the commandments, I'm still going to stand. I'm still going to be on his side. I'm still not going to put any gods before him. I'm still going to stand. My walk with the Almighty is not determined by what other people do. The whole world lieth in wickedness, and we're of the Most High. I'm trying to make it in. Regardless if my wife fall, my children fall, my mom doesn't come, my brothers and sisters at other congregations fall to the wicked. No, I'm not doing it. I'm going to stand on the Almighty side. When Moses came, he says, whoever is on the Almighty side, come over here. And they came over there and said, get every man their sword and their spear and go through. Kill brothers and sisters and wives and whatnot, right? And that's the mindset we have. We are of the Most High, and the whole world lieth in wickedness, right? Let's keep going. And we know that the Son of the Almighty is come and have given us understanding, and that we may know him that is true, and we are in him that is true, even the Son of Yeshua Mashiach. This is the true Almighty and eternal life. Little children, keep yourselves from idols. Let it be so. Keep yourself from idols. Why would he say that? Because you could be caught up in unknowingly. Before you observe something, look at the origin. It says that the blind leadeth the blind, both fall in the ditch. It says, my people perish for a lack of knowledge. And it says, because they rejected knowledge. Some of it is because we stopped learning. We think because we graduated high school, we don't need to study. Like, when I have back pain, I'll spend 30 minutes looking at back pain, different exercises, what could be the cause. Did you know that I just found out the other day when I taught on, build your treasures in heaven, last service dealing with my shoe, right? I didn't know that some people have back pain because of bad shoes. I've never even thought of that. I know because you're sitting in a car seat like truck drivers. I know bad posture. You're sitting in your seat wrong on the computer. But I never know. You could just change your shoes and mount. You know, when you deal with hip flexibility, different exercises, knee pain. Did you know that walking, you get on a treadmill. My dude showed me that. Get on the treadmill and you put it on incline. And you walk back first for 10 minutes. It get rid of the majority of knee pain. For a lot, probably 50% of you, if you ever had knee pain, right? Put the treadmill or go on a hill, find a hill and walk up backwards. That's something I learned that you're not going to learn in high school and college unless you're going into that field. Always try to learn. Learn medicine. Learn stop. Just because we live holy and we live righteous don't mean we stop learning. Always learn. You know what I'm saying? Always be a student. So, let's keep going, right? It says, keep yourself from idols. So we already know there's no way you could observe Valentine's Day and say you're a servant of the Most High. There's no way you're going to be able to do it. There's no way you're going to observe Valentine's Day and make it into the kingdom. It's not going to happen. Back to with the whole love thing. Let me see this. Another custom during Lupercal was pairing young Roman boys and girls at the same point during the festival, and the names of the young girls were written in bits of paper and slipped into a jar. And every young man will then pull out a girl's name from the jar and pair them, and they will be coupled together for the duration. So pretty much they slept with each other for those 2 days, 3 days. Many stayed together until the following year's festival. So they stayed to the next festival, and then they'll swap for someone else. Some even fell in love and married. Wow. That's what they did. So a random sex fest. But let's keep going. Even if, let's just say hypothetically, Valentine's Day is not sin, right? Let's just hypothetically. It's still wrong in the sight of the Bible regardless. Because remember that scripture I said, all things are lawful, but not all things are expedient. All things are lawful, but all things edify not. Let's deal with the whole fact with consumerism. Give me 1 Timothy chapter 2. 1 Timothy, no, give me 2 Timothy chapter 2. A couple books to your left. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4. 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 4. No man that warreth entangle himself with the affairs of this life, that he may please him who hath chosen him to be a soldier. Why are we entangled with Valentine's Day, where I got to get some roses and get this and do something special? Why are you entangled in that? Why? Oh, well, who cares? You mean the world, society has told you need to do this for your girlfriend or your wife or whatever? Or your mom or whatever? Is society telling you that? You mean the sinner society? The society is telling you it's okay to just sleep with people and not be married and have kids by people and not get married. Society, like, are we really going to follow what anything American society and American culture tells you? Well, what feels right is right. I identify as a woman, so thus I am a woman. That's society. But let's keep going. Give me Luke chapter 8. This is why it says, even though we take the scriptural, and sometimes we only apply it, I was talking about this Zooms, we only apply it to the word, and a lot of the scripture walks is universal. It says, if the blind leadeth the blind, both's going to fall into the ditch. Yes, that's dealing with doctrine of the scriptures. But you are also blind when you celebrate any holiday, not a holy day, a biblical holy day, right? Holiday, and not even know the origins of it. How are you not blind? You've been celebrating Thanksgiving for years and not know the origin of it. You are blind. You're blind. Let's keep going, right? So we're at Luke chapter 8. Luke chapter 8. Verse 14. Okay. And that which fell among the thorns are they which they heard and go forth and are choked out with the cares and riches and pleasures of this life and bring no fruit to perfection. Now he's dealing with the thorny ground, and you're going to have to read that parable if you want to read the whole chapter. But it's saying these people are caught up with the cares of this world. They're caught up with consumerism. They're caught up with status. I dealt with status the other day when I dealt with the shoes and whatnot and dealing with that. They're caught up with this stuff. I was going to show a clip about a reprobate mind, but when I showed it to the people on Zooms, it was longer than I thought it was. And so I didn't want people to watch something for like 5 minutes or something. But it was a total reprobate mind. And it showed, Sister Whitney said something, the majority of Americans are there, more extreme or less extreme, but the majority of people are pretty much like that. Some are more or less extreme, and I 100% agree with what she said. So they're caught up with consumerism. So now we're going to deal with how this is still not right, observing Valentine's Day, even if it wasn't idolatry, right? Consumerism. We're going to look that up. The definition. You guys ready for this? Ready for this? Please put your comments up. Consumerism is a social and economic ideology that encourages the acquisitions of goods and services ever increasing amounts, equating to personal happiness and social status with material consumption. So you think because you have the shiny car, this should make me happy, or the big house, or the shiny shoes, or the gold on the chain, or I do this, or the vacation, this signifies, this is symbolic for happiness. And not finding happiness in oneself. There's a lot of people that have a lot of money that are miserable. There's a lot of people that have a lot. This is why when people were jumping off those skyscrapers in 2008, because they lost all their money, they can't fathom being happy without money. They were so caught up in consumerism, they'll rather die than to be middle class or be poor. Because they say, it's no way I could be happy. And I've told you before, I've seen this couple. They were homeless, but they had each other, and you could see their dynamic. They were happy. Even though they were homeless, they were happy. And you see middle class or lower class married and are not happy. But this homeless couple, and I admired it because they had each other. They didn't have much, but they had each other. But that's opposite of consumerism. But let's keep going, right? More is better. Culture where consumers spending is seen as primary engine for growth and individual fulfillment. You see these people, they have 30 purses, and I got to get a Gucci bag, and I got to do this. I've talked about this a little bit, but I should have waited until today to deal with that service. Consumerism. It'll quickly humble you and break your connection. Yeah, with consumerism. Now let's keep going. All right? Now I'm just going to deal with the definitions right there. So, not receiving a gift. Let's go with Valentine's Day. Not receiving a gift. Like, let's say a marriage or a couple. The fact that a woman could get upset with their husband or their wife or husband or their wife or whatever, right? Your couple and or boyfriend, girlfriend, you get upset if someone doesn't give you something on this particular day. That means you are brainwashed. You are caught up with consumerism. Because how are you going to let some made up day affect how you feel about your spouse? And where do you have this sense of entitlement like you deserve something on this day? So, let's study this. All right. I forgot to finish consumerism. Then we're going to deal with that. Technology upgrades, consumerism. This examples of consumerism. Consumers replacing functional smartphones annually to market it that creates anticipation for new models. I think the average of, I dealt with the average people replace cars every 2 to 5 years. So they're going to pay cars for the rest of their life because they're not going to pay off a car and keep it for another 10 years. I have a 1999 Montero Sport, and it's doing pretty good. I have also a 2001 Chevy Tahoe. It is 25 years old, and it's doing pretty good. I have a 2008 piece of trash Hyundai Odyssey that does nothing that gives me problems. But other than that, I don't have to deal with $1,200, $1,300 car payments. I don't have to worry about repossessions. We're going to deal with consumerism today and Valentine's Day. But you get, oh, I can't wait. This phone's perfectly working. You only had this phone 2 years, but you got to have the newest phone because you got to have some status. Oh, I got the new, I got to couldn't wait till I show my friends at work, right? That's consumerism. That ideology will mess you up. Fashion. Purchasing inexpensive or trendy clothing from retailers like H&M, Zara, are often discarding them quickly for new trends. Some people, I think Louis Vuitton had this deal. If you do so many returns, you can't return anything because people will buy something for $1,200, wear it to a party, and then return it just to have the status that I wear Louis Vuitton. To the point where people will ban you from the store. To the point where people would dig in the trash cans just to get a Louis Vuitton bag to eat, to walk down the street and act like they just bought something. So consumerism has consumed them so much to where even if they don't have the money to spend on it, that they will try to fake it because they're rotten to the core. Let's keep going. Holiday shopping, and we're going to deal with this Valentine's Day. The surge is spending during events like Christmas, Black Friday, emphasis gift of consumption. Materialism, buying luxury goods, designer brands to display social status. Conventional culture, subscribing to multiple stream services, frequently using food delivery apps for convenience. Oh, I don't feel like driving, dude. Even though I could just go get 2 subs for $15, $20 or whatnot, I'm going to pay $40 because I don't feel like driving. Every once in a while, I'm sick. Okay, get your butt up, get in the car and go buy it. Why are you wasting money on that, right? Let's keep going. You can use that money and invest it. Have that compound for you, right? So, back to now that we deal with consumer, let's deal with the feeling of this. Check this out. A lack of gifts, particularly when expected, compared to others, can significantly control a person's feelings by triggering insecurity, unworthiness, or feeling of being undervalued. Such deficiencies may cause recipients to feel unresolved, resentful, or anxious, often highlighting issues with intimacy, emotional neglect, or a need for validation. So I'm upset with you because you didn't get me nothing on Valentine's Day. Check this out. Feelings of unworthiness. These are different ways of how consumerism can control how you feel. Recipients may interpret a lack of effort or gifts as a reflection of their own lack of value. Another one, anxiety and stress. The anticipation of or absence of expected recognition can lead to significant and unnecessary stress. Relationship insecurity, a lack of gifts make one feel unappreciated, leading to resentment or feelings that a relationship that lack intimacy. We could use these days. It could be Mother's Day, Father's Day, Valentine's Day, birthdays, Christmas, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, all this stuff. You are caught up with consumerism. And imagine, my mom knows I don't celebrate these days, but if my mom ever got upset, why didn't you get me nothing on Mother's Day? Well, one, that's a false day. They just made that day up. That's the day they made up because they want you to spend money. But it's like, I'm there for you all every day of the year. I'm there for you every day. If you needed help with this, you need a place to stay, you need a couple $100, whatever, right? I'm always there for my mom, right? So if she really pressed the issue, I say, okay, pick any day. Pick any day you want me to do something for you. Regardless, I'm not going to observe pagan days, but I'll do it on that day. And I'm not going to do nothing for you for the rest of the year. Pick one. And I know I don't have that situation with my mom because she knows not expected, but if I show love, if I'm there, if I'm your husband and I'm there providing, protecting, and leading and comforting and counseling and there for you all year long, and because I don't get you nothing on Valentine's Day, you're upset with me? How does that make sense? How does that line up with the word? And how does that apply with consumerism? You are rotten up. You're spoiled. Because I'm here from you all year long, but because I choose not to observe or choose not to get you on that day, now you feel undervalued and underappreciated and you don't care and lack of effort and all this stuff and trying to make me feel condemned for some day that these random people made up that you don't even know and you don't even know the origin and you don't even know where it came from and I'm supposed to feel bad. So now our relationship is affected because some false consumer day called Valentine's Day. You see how ridiculous this sounds? So even if it wasn't paganism and idolatry that will send you to the lake of fire and you're breaking the first commandment, the fact that it's consumerism, which is completely against the Bible, it's still wrong. It's still wrong. But let's keep going. Let's do some consumerism picks. All right, I want you guys to pay attention to this stuff now. We're going to get deep. Let's do this. All right. Consumerism. I said credit card debt, and I put Christmas 2025. Over. If you want to pause that or whatnot, right? You guys listening? Over 1/3, 37% of U.S. consumers took on debt for the 2005 Christmas season. 1/3 of every person in the United States didn't have the money, so they took on debt to feed the consumer engine. Averaging $1,223, the average was $1,200 in new debt, with 66% of borrowers utilizing credit cards. 60%. Others were probably loans, personal loans or whatnot. The total holiday spending exceeded $1 trillion. So then if 60%, $1 trillion, and 66% of that $1 trillion was credit card debt. Total holiday spending exceeded $1 trillion, and 18% of consumers expected to still be paying off these purchases by the summer of 2026. Meaning the 18% won't even pay off that to this summer. And 4 months from that summer is, guess what? Christmas again. Let's keep going. Average. Holiday shoppers who went in debt averaged $1,200, with parents under 18 averaging higher for $1,300. Impact of consumers. 59% of those who went in a holiday debt reported stress, and 47% regretted the amount they spent. Half the people that spent money for Christmas with the average of $1,200 regretted how much they spent on Christmas. All things are lawful, but all things are not edifying. All things are lawful, but all things edify not, are not expedient, right? Let's keep going. Disneyland. Let's deal with Disneyland and consumerism. In 2025, credit card debt for Disneyland trips were a significant trend. Nearly 45% of families taken on debt to fund vacations, averaging $1,900 in added debt. High ticket prices and inflation are the main drivers, with the average credit card interest of over 21%. These trips can result in long-term financial strain. Long-term financial strain. So you're selling your future because you want instant gratification instead of just having some discipline and saving $20 or $50 a week or $50 every paycheck and say we're going to go to Disneyland next year, and if we save this much, we'll have enough money to do it next year. Instead of just doing that and actually planning your life, I'm going to just sell my future and I'm going to have financial strain. But man, long as it's just a good time. You know what that sounds like? It sounds like someone that gets an STD. It sounds like someone that gets AIDS. But man, I'm just in the mood. We're vibing. It's this. We've been drinking this and this. I'll take the chance. And then you slide up in and you have intimacy. And then now your future, you got bumps in your lip, you got herpes, or you got HIV. Now you're taking medicine for the rest of your life. And you're like, now your future is strained because you just wanted it now. You wanted that sex now. You wanted that intimacy now, and you took the risk, and now you regret it. This is why it said in the other one, 47% regretted how much they spent on Christmas. Half the people in America that took on debt to do it regret what they spent. And this is what this is why build your treasures in heaven. Because where you build your treasure, your heart is. We're looking for new heaven, new earth, and new Jerusalem. I'm not caught up with consumerism. Let's keep going. Widespread debt. Roughly 24% of all park goers go into debt for Disney trips, with the number rising to 45% for parents with under 18. So ones that go with children under 18, 45% of them go into debt to do it. Meaning 45% of every person that goes to Disneyland every year cannot afford it, and yet they still go. Consumerism. 45% of people that go cannot afford it, and yet they still go anyways. Let's keep going. Average debt amount. Parents with young children also accumulate nearly $2,000 in debt. Some visitors have reported in extreme cases taking on tens of thousands in debt for large extended family trips. Because they want to stay. I want to give my kids that thing. We're going to stay in the Disney hotel, which is like $400 a night. And we're going to go be here for 3 nights. And we're going to eat the food at the Disney restaurant. And we're going to eat the food at the Disney park. And we're going to pay for the passes to where we can skip the lines. And we're going to go all out. And now you just sold your future. Guess what? Now you ain't going on vacations with your kids for the next 2 or 3 years. Now what? Now, instead of that, oh, let's go on that camping trip, let's do this and let's do this, now you're in debt. And that's compounding against you too, because most people just pay the minimum. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's go with cars, because everyone wants that shiny car. This is all going to tie back to Valentine's Day. I got 2 more scriptures for you guys, don't worry. Approximately 1/3 of Americans cannot afford a new car at current prices, leading to 19.3% of buyers taking on monthly payments over $1,000 of the mid 2025. So 1/3 of all the Americans cannot afford a 2024, a 23, 20, let's just say 24, 25, and 26 car. 1/3. And yet they still buy them. And then this is why they're paying $1,000 or more, $1,200, $1,400 car payments, because you're buying something you can't afford. And the banks know this. So they say, if he wants to make a stupid move, we need to get our money right away because we know he can't afford it. So he's going to pay $1,200 a month. We're at least going to recoup what we put in before he gets it repossessed, right? Let's keep going. According to Car Scoops and CNN, with the average new cars exceeding 50,000, over 20% of consumers are stretching their budgets, often by opting for an 84-month loan to manage payments. And remember, there was the 12, 24, 36. Most cars was 36, paid off in 3 years. Now it got to 60. Now you're going to 84 months. 84 months, because the fact that you need to go 84 months is because you're trying to buy something you can't afford. And guess what? Now you're at a higher interest rate, and now you're going to be paying like 1.5 to that car twice, simply because you're stretching out the loan amount. So you're paying more interest. But you have to have that shiny car. I want that. I want that Scat Pack. I want that. I just got to have it. I don't care what the interest rate. I don't care how many months it takes. I want it. Instant gratification, like a kid that throws a tension tantrum with a kid. I want it. On their back, banging their feet against the ground. I just want it no matter what. Consumerism will eat you. It's like a canker. It's like a plague, like Ebola, like a virus, a cancer that just consumes these people, and they become blinded. And all they see is they just want, I don't care, I can't afford, I want it. It just consumes them. All right, check this out. $1,000 club. Roughly 1 in 5 people, 19.3% of new car buyers are committing to a monthly payment exceeding $1,000. That means you're buying a car outside your price range. Instead of getting a $50,000 car, get you a used car. After 5 years, the majority of cars lose 60% of their value. So if you just get you a trade-in, it's 2026. Get you a 2021, 30,000, 50,000 miles on it. You'll get it at a good price. And you're saving $25,000 because you're not getting a $50,000 car. You're getting a $27,000 or $28,000 vehicle at a good deal. And guess what? That $1,000 payment is only $600. Now you're not straining. Now you're not, I don't know. I think this is simple, but somehow it's so difficult because how do so many people make the same mistake? I just don't get it. Maybe because I serve the Almighty and we build our treasures in heaven. But how do you make this mistake? It doesn't mathematically make sense, but yet so many Americans do it. Let's keep going. Extending loans. 22% of new cars in 2025 at 84 months or longer. Look at that. 22% extended loans. 84 months or longer. That means you can't afford it. If you can't pay it off in 3 or 4 years, you can't afford it. What are you going to make it a 10-year loan to buy this car that you're going to want to trade in 5 years? Because the average person trades it in between 2 and 5 years. So you're going to all just make it a 7-year loan. But getting well in 3 or 5 years, you're going to want to, I'm tired of this car. I want something new because I got to keep up with the Joneses, right? All right, let's keep going. Income constraints. For households earning under $65,000, options for new cars are extremely limited, with many forced to look for used market, like you should, because that's where you're at, for the lowest earners be entirely priced out. Okay, if I'm priced out of a new car, then I'm priced out of that. This is where I'm at in life. Instead of me going into debt and ruining my life, how about I get my money up? How about I spend this money, that extra money, and invest in a business, or try to do something, invest in some stocks or some IRA account and have it compound and work for me? And maybe I need to get my money up, and in 5 years, I want to be able to buy that car that I want. Have you ever liked a car and you're like, man, I want that car, and after like 5 or 7 years, that car is not even that attractive to you? Now imagine you say, you know what, I want that car. It's a 2025 Dodge. You know, I like it because it has a Hellcat in it, right? Dodge Durango. In 5 years, I'm going to buy that car. And then you saved up money, and then in 5 years, you're like, I don't even want that car. I'm glad I didn't buy that car. How about you just wait 5 years? Just 5 years. Save up your money. In 5 years, get that car you want. It already went down 60%. You're going to get a good deal and get the car you want, if you still want it. Right? Let's keep going. Car repossessions. Last one, and we're getting back into the book. Oh wait, I didn't deal with the Christmas one. Wait up. Where's the other one? All right, there we go. Check this out. This is for the Christmas one. Persistent debt. Check this out. Nearly 1 in 3 shoppers this is in 2025, still had not yet paid off their 2004 holiday debts by late 2025. So the people in 2025 are buying Christmas gifts and still haven't fully paid off their Christmas gifts in 2024. Their debt that they took on. And it says this, and 18% of consumers expected to still be paying off these purchases by summer of 2026. You're still, no. Wait up. I already read that. 41% of those who took on debt in 2025 are still carrying over from the previous year. 41% of people that took on an extra $1,200 in 2025 still owe from the Christmas of 2024. So then what's going to happen in another 8 months from now, 6 months from now when Christmas comes again? Because you're so eaten up with consumerism. Now let's leave this up. That's how bad these people are. Back to the last one. And now we're going to get back into the scripture. With Valentines Day and all this stuff. All right? Car repossessions are surging in 2025 with the estimated indicator over 2.2 million vehicles are already possessed, projecting 3 million by the end of the year. So roughly 2025, 3 million cars. Levels not seen since 2008 and 2009 financial crashes. This 15-year high is driven by high interest rate, elevated auto loans, inflation affecting both subprime and prime buyers. And these banks and these car dealerships are not your friend. And then you having stupidity is not your friend, and you want an instant gratification, and you not having financial literacy and trying to learn this through YouTube or reading books and educating yourself. So it's like they look at you and they lick their lips. Oh, we got another stupid one. Yeah. Oh, you want this car? Oh, I got you. I'll get you this car. What's your car? What do you want? I can get you this. I can get you this for 84 months. I'll get it for you. No, I had to talk to a couple banks. I found a bank with your credit score. We can get you. Go ahead. Go take your car. And they're licking their lips because they're going to make so much money off the interest of you. They're going to make just as much interest off you as the price of the profit of the car. They made $3,000 off the car price for buying it, fixing it, and selling it to you. But then they made $15,000 in interest payments over the course of 84 months. Congratulations. This is what instant gratification does to you. Let's keep going. This is what consumerism does to you. Right? Where we at? Last one. All right. Surge in numbers. Over 2.2 million vehicles were repossessed early in the year, and year-end estimates 3 million. Some reports, including repossessed assignments, authorities recording suggest figures could reach over 10 million. This actual repossession are projected to be 3 million. So, how many of those 3 million people? Some, they lost their job. Some this. But how many of those people bought something they could not afford? They were stretching yourself thin. They are so thin that any bump in the road is going to mess them up. If their transmission goes out, they're done. If they get sick for a week, they're done. If they lose their job if they're slow for 2 weeks, they're done. Like, they are stretching themselves so thin when they buy these houses and buy these cars to where they will have a perfect life with no storms, no bump in the roads, no hiccups, no emergency trips to take your kids to the hospital, or my kid is sick and I need to stay home with him because he has the flu for 2 weeks and now I don't know how I'm going to make my car payment. You're stretching yourself that thin. All because of consumerism. Same thing with Valentine's Day. Last two scriptures. Let's go. 1 Corinthians chapter 10 again. 1 Corinthians chapter 10. That's why when I look at people and they have shiny stuff, dude, half the time it's fake. Yeah, it's in their possession, but how many people we pass by with better cars than us that are only 1 month away for foreclosure, for repossession? How many people there's a term called house poor, where it's typically single women, but they buy this house, and because the house takes so much out of them, they're poor. They can't go on vacation. They can't do anything. They have just enough to pay the mortgage because something happened and now they had to get a water heater fixed, or something happened and now they had to do the termites, and something happened, now they need to replace their roof and it's $10,000. And they're called house poor. They're a person that owns a house, but they can't do anything. They're stuck for 30 years. No vacations, no nothing, no anything. House poor. Look it up. You can YouTube it. It's called house poor. You bought the house and now you're stuck for 30 years. No mobility whatsoever, right? No extra money to invest. No extra money to take your kids and do no karate class. None of that. They're poor. Let's keep going. 1 Corinthians chapter 10, verse 23. All things are lawful, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful, but all things edify not. It's not edifying to be caught up in consumerism anyways. And just because it's not a sin to use my credit card to buy a TV or something, why not do it with wisdom? Find the best deal, or why not say, okay, if I'm going to use my credit card, I'll need to be able to pay off this TV in 3 months. Well, if I won't be able to pay this debt off in 3 months, well, maybe I need to save up then. Maybe I need to save up so I'm not carrying this debt from 2024 debt, right? I'm going to put so much on debt to where I'm not going to be able to pay it off for a year and a half. That's what people are doing. 2026 Christmas, they're still paying 2024 debt. Not wise. Let's keep going. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Last scripture. 1 Corinthians chapter 6. Verse 12. All things are lawful unto me, but all things are not expedient. All things are lawful for me, but I will not be brought under the power of any. It says the debtor is servant to the lender. It also says that if you could be free, use it. If you could be debt free, do it. Why would you want to be brought under the power of debt? Why? If you can. Some things do take payments. Like you buy a car or something like that, it may take payments. I get it. I'm not knocking. But let it be, if you need a credit card, an emergency, a funeral, a transmission went out, an emergency, something to sustain. Not half of your credit card purchases is consumerism. Oh, I went shopping. Oh, I went on this vacation. Oh, I got rims on my car. Oh, I put a system. So all this stuff was just luxury items on your debt, on your credit card debt? Or is this, I had to get groceries because, hours were low, or this, or the transmission went out, or I had to do this to go to a funeral. The majority of your stuff should be necessities, not luxuries. Don't be caught. If you don't have the money, you don't have the money. Be transparent. Be honest with yourself. We don't just borrow money because I want the TV. We don't just, I really want this system in my car. I want 212s. I want to be up and down the block. No, don't run up debt for that. Save up. Have some financial discipline. You can't get it right now. If you save up $20 a month, maybe it's going to take you 3 months to get your system. Okay, you waited 3 months, but you're not debt free. But you're debt free, right? Don't be brought under the power of any. Recap. Idolatry. Valentine's Day is idolatry. There's no way around it. You ain't going to make it into the kingdom in idolatry. There's no way around that. That's a sin. All Christians that celebrate Valentine's Day are sinning against the Most High. They're not going to make it in. I don't care if they say they're a child of God, they're born of this. Paganism is paganism. It says in the old time, the Almighty winked at, but now he's calling all sinners to repentance. No, he's not dealing with that. Look up the origin. If the blind leader of the blind, both's going to fall in the ditch. There's no way you're going to be a minister of the Most High and have a congregation and not know what sin is and not know what idolatry is. All these people today, these Christians celebrating Valentines Day, buying their wives or moms or whatever, they're celebrating paganism. They might as well just sacrifice a goat and hit people with goat skin. Might as well just commit fornication and link up with some random people. No, they're done. They're cooked. This is why I say Christians don't make it in. When they say, are you a Christian? No. Do you believe in the Bible? Yes. So you're a Christian? No. You believe in the Bible? Yes. Then that means you're a Christian. No, it does not. No, I am not a Christian. I'm a servant of the Most High. I believe in the scriptures. Right? Let's keep going. Control feelings. I know when we first come to the Almighty and you stop doing Christmas, you're going to feel like a bad parent, or we don't let them go to the prom because there's going to be drinking or there's going to be music playing and all this stuff. And it's like, no, I don't want you to be at that stuff. No, I get it. I know all the kids and your kids are looking out the window, or all the kids walking by and dressing up, and that looks cool, and they're getting candy, and your kids come back to school and all these other kids have a whole bunch of candy and your kid doesn't really have candy. You're going to feel, oh, it sucks, and your thoughts try to trick you. They need a normal childhood. A normal childhood is living righteous. We are of God, of the Almighty, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Remember that scripture we just read. We are of the Most High, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. So your child is of the Most High, and they're going to look out that window and see all these kids dressing, looking cool, and then getting candy and whatnot, and they're going to feel like they're missing out, and you're going to feel like you're missing out because they're going to have their toys on Christmas and their drones and all these cool bikes and stuff, and your kid just has regular stuff, nothing extra, typical. And it's not saying you can't buy them things throughout the whole year, but they're going to feel like, oh, I'm missing out. I get it. It's going to deal with your feelings, but don't let consumerism, don't let paganism, don't let that stuff deceive you. We are of God, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. We are of Yah, and the whole world lieth in wickedness. Don't be deceived by that, right? Last one. The stuff's not edifying. It don't have to be Valentine's Day. It could just be instant gratification. Kill that. We know when we pray to the Most High, it's not like, let me rub this lamp. Almighty, I want some money. And he gives it to me. Oh, I got a couple more wishes. Almighty, I want this, I want this, I want this, and I want it now. We know for a fact the Almighty doesn't work that way. And so, in like manner, if we have to save up, and if we have to live below our means, so we could purchase an item and not go into debt, especially debt that you can't pay off for a year and a half for a vacation. You could have saved up for that. Like, you could have, if it cost you $2,000 and you say, hey, I want us to go to Disneyland. We're going to be saving up. It's going to take 2 years. We could save $75 a week, $100 a week, or $100 a paycheck. In about a year and a half, we'll have the money to go to Disneyland. That's the right thing to do. Not let me take on debt and only pay the minimum payment, because the minimum payment is not going to really pay on the principal. So this debt is just going to reoccur and work compound against me to where I'll never get out of debt. Like, no. Come on now. Especially you brothers and sisters in the Most High. Use wisdom. With all that said and being done, keep standing. Don't drop standing. Get the Almighty a hand clap. Shalom.